Okay, let's unpack this. Ever felt overwhelmed trying to connect your applications securely in the cloud? Or just ensuring your websites actually load reliably for everyone? Today, we're doing a deep dive into two foundational tools, Azure DNS and private link services. Really critical Azure networking components for managing, well, domain names and secure private connections.
Yeah, and what's fascinating here, I think, is how these two services directly tackle fundamental challenges, things that used to really plague cloud deployments, like unreliable public DNS or insecure public internet access.
Right, so our mission today, cut through the jargon, really understand why they exist, and give you the core insights. The goal is to help you grasp secure, compliant Azure networking in, well, in your own deployments.
Huh.
So maybe let's rewind a little. Before Azure DNS and Private Link, what were people facing? What were the big headaches?
Oh, it was definitely a challenge. Like you said, unreliable name resolution was a big one. It could kill performance, make apps seem down, and managing your own DNS server is just a constant headache.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But the really big pain point, I'd say, was security. Having to expose services to the public internet just to connect them.
Risky.
Exactly. Huge security, huge compliance concerns. So Azure DNS steps in to handle the reliability part. And Private Link, well, it just eliminates that public exposure, solves that security piece directly.
Okay, let's focus on Azure DNS for a sec. What exactly is it? How does it navigate the cloud for
Yeah,
us?
right. So at its core, it's Azure's managed DNS service. Highly available, globally distributed, low latency. Think of it in two main parts. Public DNS zones, that's for your internet stuff, like yourcompany.com.
Uh-huh.
And then, crucially, private DNS zones. These work inside your virtual networks, your VNets, perfect for resolving internal names, like your VMs or databases, without going out to the internet. And it's got that 99.99% uptime SLA, plus Anycast routing globally, so queries are fast wherever you are.
Okay, fast is good, reliable is good, but security.
Mm.
You mentioned Private Link fixing that public exposure. This seems like where it gets really interesting, especially for compliance, right?
Absolutely. This is kind of the game changer for many. Private Link lets you create private endpoints. Think of them as network interfaces within your VNet that connect directly to Azure services, like Azure Storage, Azure SQL, or even your own custom services running in Azure.
And the connection.
That's the key. The connection uses a private IP address within your VNet. All the traffic travels over Microsoft's secure backbone network. It never, ever touches the public internet.
Wow, so it completely bypasses the public internet.
Completely, which basically eliminates a whole class of threats. Your service isn't visible externally. It's a massive security uplift.
Huge. Okay, so let's bring it together. For you, the listener, building things in Azure,
Yeah.
what does this practically mean? What are the real benefits day to day?
Well, combining them simplifies a lot. Less complex configuration, definitely better security, and often better performance, too. So, for example, you might host your public website domain in an Azure DNS public zone, maybe point it to an application gateway for load balancing, standard stuff. But then for accessing, say, your backend Azure SQL database from your application VNet, you'd use a private link endpoint. That database connection, totally private, secure, off the internet. It lets you build these inherently more secure, more efficient architectures from the ground up.
That makes a lot of sense. It sounds powerful, almost seamless. But for beginners, any key best practices or maybe limitations they should keep in mind? Any pitfalls?
Yeah, good question. Leveraging them effectively is key. First, always use private endpoints for critical services. It should be standard practice for security. Use Azure tags. Seriously, tag everything for cost tracking and organization. It helps later.
Good tip.
And automation. Use ARM templates, Bicep, Terraform, whatever you prefer, for deploying these. Makes things consistent and repeatable. Also, remember, powerful tools need care. A misconfigured DNS record or private link setting can break things.
So testing is crucial.
Absolutely crucial. Test thoroughly in a staging or dev environment before going to production. And finally, keep an eye on costs. Check Azure Cost Management, especially if you expect high DNS query volumes or use a lot of private link endpoints and data processing.
Right. So this deep dive really shows that Azure DNS and Private Link aren't just, extra features. They feel much more like foundational pillars for building proper cloud solutions, secure, scalable, compliant.
Exactly. They really empower you to manage your network securely, ensuring data stays private, apps stay reliable. It aligns perfectly with what modern cloud networking demands.
So for you listening, the big takeaway is mastering these gives you real robust control over your Azure environment. I mean, think about this. What specific service or application in your work could most benefit from that private, secure connectivity, or maybe just a more solid DNS setup? Something to chew on.